Today we're talking about self-discipline. That doesn't sound very fun, but I hope I can make it more fun than it sounds. We're going to talk a little bit about self-indulgence versus self-discipline, how to take baby steps to be a little more self-disciplined in your life. My own struggle with self-discipline, it doesn't come natural for me. So I hope that this helps you. I know that a lot of us are coming out of quarantine feeling a little weary for the journey. How many of you would say that even like some good habits that you had in place before that, you kind of lost your way a little bit during quarantine? Tell me if you feel like you took like 3 steps back maybe in the self-discipline category. So I want to tell you a little bit about my journey with self-discipline. I feel like it has been a rocky road. So I'm one of those people that I love to have fun. I love to do whatever's fun. And I find that people that kind of have my blue personality, if you ever have done the like color personalities, I have a lot of blue. People like me do not say no to much. If you want to make a stop at Krispy Kreme, yes. You want to take the boat and go cliff jumping? Yes, I'm all in. I tend to be a person who like just goes 100 miles an hour at whatever we can do. And that part of my personality, although I love it in a way, like I feel like it makes me fun and I love being that person. Like, who wants to be the person who says, like, you're on a girls' night for dinner and they're like, let's go there, Krispy Kreme. Who wants to be the person who goes, yeah, I don't eat sugar? Like, sometimes don't you just want to go, well, just poo on you then, because we're stopping. Like, you never want to be that person. I never want to be that person. So self-discipline for me has been a journey. Let's just say that. I also do have a part of my personality, though, that is very driven. So there's part of my personality that really wants to be self-disciplined. There's part of my personality that just wants to stop at Krispy Kreme when the hot sign is on. Can I get an amen? Anybody else have that split personality? This has really been a journey for me because I have this tendency to just be like, yes, let's do it. Let's go. Let's have it. Let's whatever. But I also have a lot of goals. So I have a lot of goals. So, okay, this is the perfect scenario. During COVID, during the lockdown, my goal was to learn how to make sourdough like a boss. And I did. I made a lot of sourdough bread. I've got my starters in my fridge. It's one of the most amazing processes I've ever learned. I became a student. I studied for hours. I made bad loaves of bread. I made more bread. It was so good. So there's that part of me that like, you know, I'm going to use this time so wisely. There's the other part of me eating sourdough bread, gaining 7 pounds. So do you see how like this could be in conflict with each other? And so I love continually talking about this because it continually is something that I want to get better at. I really have to work at this category. Now, here's what I want you to do. We're going to talk about 3 ways to increase your self-discipline and why you should. It doesn't mean that you have to always be a stick in the mud and say, oh, I don't do this or I do this or whatever. It just means that you gain more awareness of how your brain is working and how it could possibly be sabotaging you from the thing you want most for the thing you want now. And I think what a lot of us do, especially I think women my age, we get to this point where, I mean, let's go ahead and say it. Some of us are perimenopausal and we're a little bit grouchy. And we're like, I don't have to do that anymore. I don't care. Like, how many of you have said that to yourself? Like, I spent those years worrying about whatever. I don't care anymore. I just am who I am. Some of you are like, oh my gosh, she's reading my email. And the thing of it is, I do believe, this is why I think my take on this topic is a little bit different. I think the reason we do that is because our relationship with ourselves, our relationship with self-discipline is not good. So what we've tried to do in the past is that we just punish ourselves. We say awful things to ourselves in secret or sometimes out loud. And so we get to this point where we basically go, I'm tired of doing that. I'm tired of beating myself up. I'm tired of trying to do something different. I'm tired of trying to lose weight, to save money, to, discipline myself with my screen time, to whatever it is that you struggle with. I'm just tired of it because I know that when I don't succeed at it, I'm going to be mean to myself and beat myself up. So in a way, I get it, because you should be tired of that, because beating yourself up is never, ever going to get you to the point that you want to get to. But I think what we do is we just decide that this whole trying to, really be aware of how we're sabotaging ourselves and be aware of how we've given up on so many of our dreams. Like, I turned 50 this year. I still have it in my heart that I'm going to get to like my strongest, healthiest body. I still believe that. I still hold that as like, this is possible. And I think I'm able to still do that because I've learned that I'm not going to get there by being mean to myself. And I think the reason a lot of us give up is because we're like, I'm so tired of treating myself like that. I'm tired of falling off the wagon, and then I'm just mean to myself, and then, I'm never going to do it. Whereas if we looked at it as it's just an opportunity to learn something. So trying again to lose a few pounds, trying again to start an exercise program, trying again, instead of looking at it like, well, I've never been able to do it before, looking at it like, I'm probably really a lot closer than I've ever been to being there. And that's kind of the way I feel with a lot of the goals that I have. So with a lot of the goals that I have, I don't say to myself, well, I didn't do it last year. I mean, there's a little part of my brain that does that, and then I get onto myself and go, you know what? You're not allowed to do that to yourself. You're not allowed to be mean. You can't bully yourself into being more disciplined. You'll do it for a little while, and then you won't do it. And I find that this like baby steps, gentler approach, really training your mind to see things differently, training your mind to go, I'm probably a lot closer than I've ever been to that goal. And here's the thing, y'all. Here's why this is important, because here's what we're doing. We have this God-given desire in us for the best for ourselves and our family. We have this God-given desire, like, this is who I know I could be. We have this God-given desire for I know it's possible that I could accomplish this or be this person or whatever. We have this desire, and we, instead of using the desire to actually do the thing or be that person or accomplish that goal, we use the desire for donuts. And we use the desire for scrolling social media and for maybe drinking too much and for shopping online. Like we only have a certain amount of that desire, and we squander it for basically nothing. And so when I get to the point, like after all of this COVID, after I mastered sourdough, by the way, you should try one of my loaves someday. They are incredible. And I want to live in a world where I can have sourdough bread. So what I have done is, as soon as I see myself, like just kind of letting myself go, I'm like gentle with myself and I say, oh, of course you did, because look what you've been through. Look at, every which way the world has changed and look at what's going on. Of course you did. Like, I kind of give myself a little bit of a, like, it's all right, mama. And then I just make a plan. Like, this is no thing. This is no big deal. Here's what we do, or here's the plan. And we just keep trying. The point is not giving up and not going, well, this is just who I am, or not going, this is never going to work for me, right? Because that is what we tend to do, especially as we get older and we get a little bit cynical, because as we probably should, because we're so mean to ourselves and we're tired of it. And I get that. So the reason I think it's important is because what you really want for your life and your family and yourself is just beyond the threshold of that. What you really want, and reminding yourself of what you really want instead of what you want now, is so important. And I'm not perfect at it by any stretch, but here's the difference. I just keep trying and failing sometimes and trying again, trying a different approach. It's so funny because I gained, 6 or 7 pounds during COVID. I've already taken 4 of them off. I know it won't take me long. And I said to myself, like, this is not a deal. This is not going to take me long. I'm so excited to practice discipline again, right? And I remember a few months ago, I actually asked Trista's husband, a good friend of mine, my CrossFit coach, I'm like, when am I going to get to the point where I really figure this out, where I get to the point where I stop going? And he's like, you're already there, because you don't stop. You just keep learning. You use your experience to just learn more about yourself instead of using your experience to beat yourself up. So I hope this is making sense, to really change your mindset to, I probably will never get there, to, well, I'm getting there. This is cool how much, I learned from this experience, or this is really interesting that I mean, literally, even when you, like, say you gained 15 pounds during COVID, or say you, went crazy and did a bunch of online shopping that you regret, it's all an experience to learn. It's all something to learn from. And so when I was thinking about, like, okay, what are some practical steps to really live our lives by design instead of by default? Because what happens, especially when we get into like a fight or flight, like we were all during COVID, and some of us still are there, we just survive, just whatever it takes, as it should be. So quit beating yourself up for that, mama, okay? We just survive. We just do what we have to do. That's fine. But when we come back to ourselves, instead of giving up and going, well, there went another $1,000 or 10 pounds or whatever the thing is that we feel like we let go, we just go, I can't wait to dive back in. I can't wait to keep learning more. I can't wait to see how it goes this time. Like, this is really cool. So it's kind of like reframing it. I've had to do that with my whole life, because I used to tell myself I had a terrible past until I decided to retell the story of my past. And it's a magical thing to do. And you can retell the story of anything you want to in your life if you will be willing to just keep going. So, one of the things that I think that really helps with this, and I read this in this book, Atomic Habits. I highly recommend this book, especially right now, especially if you want to make some changes. I have read it several times, like, especially just certain parts of it, I'll just keep going over and over, like, oh, that's so good, that's so good. Atomic Habits. So he has this section in there where he talks about who you want to be. So instead of saying, he uses this example, which I love because I used to help people quit smoking when I practiced medicine. People who are trying to quit smoking. You don't say to yourself, I'm trying to quit smoking. So for instance, you're trying to quit smoking and somebody asks you, like, hey, do you want a cigarette? And you're like, no, I'm kind of trying to quit smoking right now. Isn't that what we do, like, with most things? No, I'm kind of trying to whatever. His point is, instead of targeting the habit that you want to stop or start, target the person you want to become. So instead of saying, I'm trying to quit smoking, you say something like, I'm not a smoker. The person that you are becoming, you start living into that now. And this has helped me so much. So when I first started CrossFit, I really wanted to get in shape, and I had been running by myself and just running, and it wasn't changing my body, and it was wearing out my joints, and I wanted to do something different. But when I first joined, I just felt like, oh, I can't do things that people can do or whatever. And I remember when I made the mindset shift, like, oh, I'm trying to exercise more. No, I do CrossFit. Do you see the difference? Do you see how you step into, like, you just step into it? Like, oh, I do CrossFit. And that subtle but really important shift could help you with whatever you're trying to do. So I want you to think for yourself, like in your life, what is that? What is it you're trying to stop or start? Maybe you could tell me in the comments, because here's what I'm about to do. I have already been, I think I'm 10 days maybe? I don't know. I'm like I'm 4 pounds down. I'm losing my COVID weight. I didn't say I'm trying to lose the weight I gained during lockdown. I'm losing the weight that I gained during lockdown. I'm really excited about it. I'm doing it with intermittent fasting and carb cycling and eating whole foods. Not complicated or whatever. All the drama comes after, when I don't want to eat what I said I would eat, right? But saying it like, I'm so excited. This month I'm losing my COVID weight. So I will coach you on this. I have a whole 11 video course on the mindset of permanent weight loss. And I'm really excited. Again, this is not something that I have totally nailed down. This is something that I continue to learn about and work on. Figure out for yourself what it is you want to do or change, and step into it and start talking about it as who you are instead of what you're doing, if that makes sense. Number 2. So number 1 is decide who you want to be. Number 2 is to set yourself up for success. So again, from the book Atomic Habits, there are a lot of different ways that you can do this. A few things, like I just think about how I have done this with CrossFit. And one of the things that really helps me now, it's such a part of my life and my routine that I don't even think about it. And I have all of these habits in place that I don't even I'm not even conscious of, because it's so become just what I do. But one of the things that really helped me when I was first starting is that they would post the workout the night before. And I just got in the habit of checking the workout, because then it's like in my mind, I know what we're going to do. And I'm kind of gearing up for it. Okay, what should I wear? I'll need these running shoes for tomorrow morning. And here's what I'll need. I'll get up at 5, I'll work for a couple of hours, then I'll head to the gym. It just became a part of my routine. So setting yourself up for success. Can you do reminders? Could you do something like, for a lot of us, when we're trying to drop some weight, you need to clean out your fridge and your pantry and kind of set yourself up for success. Set yourself up to become the person you're trying to become. What would the person who just lost 10 pounds and is, feeding themselves in a healthy way and getting good exercise, what would that person do? What would they eat? How would they think about what they're doing? Here's an even better question. How would they think about messing up? Say they decided to have, like I did this weekend, it was my daughter's graduation, and I had one of those double doozy cookies. So what do you make that mean? Do you make that mean now I've blown it, so forget it all? That's kind of what we do, right? Instead, you go, no, I had a double doozy because it was my daughter's graduation. I can't wait to, reset and keep going. I'm really excited about it. So how you talk to yourself about it, and how you talk about it in general, and how you set yourself up for success makes a huge difference. Can you set something up that we've talked about this before with building good habits, but one of the things, this is a tiny thing, you guys, but this is one of the things that I kind of struggle with. I have all of the energy in the morning. I get up really early. I get so much done in the mornings, but after 8 o'clock at night, I am so done. Like, I can't function. I can barely function. And just getting the last of the kitchen stuff done is sometimes more than I can even process. But what I have set up is, after I get the kitchen done, then I go take a hot bath. And just that little bit of a reward helps me more often than not do what I want to do instead of like, who cares, right? So think of how you could set something up like a small reward or whatever it is for the new thing that you want to start, for the self-discipline that you want to impose on yourself. And I will say this, self-discipline gets a bad rap, but self-discipline is basically, remember a couple of weeks ago, did you watch my live stream on loving your neighbor as yourself? Self-discipline is taking good care of yourself so that you can take good care of others. It shouldn't have a negative connotation, and it often does. How can I take really good care of myself, eat what my smart brain tells me I should eat, sleep, get good rest, have enriching relationships, like really taking good care of ourselves and changing our mindset about what it means instead of feeling like it means restriction. It means we can't have what we want. No, it means we're getting what we really want instead of what we always want right now. So number 2, set yourself up for success. Number 3, this one's not fun, but this one is true. Number 3 is to embrace the discomfort. I think the Marines say, embrace the suck. So here's the thing. It's going to be hard. You're not going to want to eat this afternoon what you told yourself you wanted yourself to eat. You're not going to want to. As much as CrossFit and exercising every day is a huge part of my life, sometimes it's not easy to get myself there. As much as showing up for my work. I love what I do. I love my work. But when it comes time to actually work, I'd rather scroll. I'd rather sit here and waste time, right? And so just anticipating that it's going to be hard. It's going to be uncomfortable. You're not going to want to do it. And doing it anyway. So I want you to think about, like, where in your life do you need more of this? And how can you build more self-discipline into your life without being mean to yourself? How can you reframe it? How can you decide that just because you didn't keep it up 2 years ago when you tried it doesn't mean you're going to do it now? What I always used to tell my patients who were trying to quit smoking is that people who quit smoking quit 11 or 12 times before they really quit. So when you're on your 10th time trying to start an exercise program, you're just like 1 or 2 times away from actually doing it. So don't give up now. And I hope that really helps you see it in a different light. It's really important because it gives us the life we really want instead of the temporary, self-indulgent, false pleasure that we want right now. And none of us are perfect at this. And you can probably take this too far. I'm sure you can. I for sure always want to be the person in the back seat going, "Stop it, Krispy Kreme!" It's fine to have Krispy Kreme. It's just that making a lifestyle of that all the time and saying to yourself, well, now it just doesn't matter at all what I do. Of course it does, because you got to take good care of yourself so that you can take care of the people who love you or who you love most. So I hope that helps you with some ways to incorporate a little more self-discipline into your life. It's a good thing. It's a good way to take care of yourself. It's a good way to take care of the people you love. Alrighty, have a great day. Bye, y'all.